It's May 21st, 2020. This is Roqe. If I were to ask you to take a guess at what unites the Iranian diaspora more than anything else, what might you say? The Persian language? Nowruz festivities? Gugush karaoke? How about food? That's right, khorak, cuisine, cooking, kubide, keshmesh, kuku, kashke bademjun. Don't forget the dough. Today our guest is a star chef who was born in Iran and now has 8 international culinary gold medals to his name. He's also a master of French cuisine and joins me to talk about the food business in the era of COVID, the simplicity of local, and the trick to a perfect fesenjoon. This is Conversations from, to, and about the Iranian diaspora. This is Roqe. Okay, welcome to episode number 11 of Roqe. I'm Jian Ghomeshi. I'm joined by, across the glass, I'm joined by Reza. Hi, Reza.
Hello,
and
Jian.
Shaya.
Hello.
It's an exciting day because we have an extra microphone now on the other side of the glass.
Yes.
So Reza and Shaya are not passing the mic back and forth whilst maintaining social distancing, but
True.
they are on their own respective microphones. This is progress,
It is, isn't it?
even if they're not very good microphones that we've given you two.
Actually, it's good. It's KSM something and.
Oh, I
it's
thought it looks like an SM78. Not an SM78.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
it's Beta 57. It's
that's what I meant.
yeah.
People have no
That's
idea
good.
what you guys are talking about.
I have no idea what I'm talking about apparently either.
I
Based
had
on what I just
several
said.
concerts with this mic. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay, Shaya. You're getting a little defensive. It is a good mic. So that's not your accent at all. I'm sorry.
You can only do one accent, can't you?
That's right.
Right?
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of an Iranian guy and Tevye from Fiddler on the Roof. It is a good mic. Traditional. It's sort of a
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Sorry. Actually, I can do accents very well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I just not right now, apparently. Listen, today we're going to play the first of our theme song submissions. So a couple of weeks ago, I put a call out to people to say, would you like to, if you're a musician or an artist, try doing our theme song, the song we just heard, in your own style with your own instrument or whatever. We got some submissions, so we're going to play. Maybe we'll get to a couple of them. We'll play at least one of them. That's a little later in the show. And also, we got so much feedback from the Hamid interview earlier this week. He was so open. He was so graciously candid in that interview. A lot of people have written us about that. We will get to the letters of the week later in this episode, and we've got some interesting music for you at the end of the show as well. But first, our special guest today. The history of Persian cuisine stretches back over 2,500 years and has influenced many, including the Arabian, Moroccan, North Indian, and Turkish cuisines. It combines the savory flavors of fresh herbs like rose petals and mint with spices like saffron, sumac, and turmeric, and merges them with the sweetness and tartness of pomegranate, barberries, and grapes. As those in the Iranian diaspora well know, the repertoire of Persian cuisine presents fragrant, diverse, and highly refined dishes which are created by complex culinary techniques. Well, my guest today is an influential chef based in Vancouver who is a master in combining the heritage of Persian cuisine with influences of the Pacific Northwest and French cooking. His creations have given birth to a unique contemporary approach that has catapulted him to award-winning status. Hamid Salimian was born in Iran, grew up at the edge of the Caspian Sea, and learned about traditional Persian cuisine amid his parents' citrus orchards and on the family dairy farm. As a teenager, his family moved to Canada, first to Ontario, and soon after to Vancouver, where he would enroll in culinary and pastry arts at Vancouver Community College, graduating at the top of his class, of course. Throughout the years, Hamid has held leadership positions in the prominent kitchens of British Columbia and has been recognized for his innovative approach. He holds 8 gold medals in national and international culinary competitions and has been the coach of Team BC and the Canadian team in culinary competitions around the world. Hamid was voted the best chef in the city by his restaurant peers in 2013 in Vancouver and has received the Georgia Strait Magazine's Mentorship Award as part of the publication's 2016 Restaurant Awards. Right now, Chef Hamid Salimian joins me from Vancouver, Canada. Hello, sir.
Hello. Oh my God, what an interest. Thank you so much.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.
You know, I was thinking where to start with you, and I was thinking you and your wife are both chefs. So let me start with this. What did you eat for dinner last night? How fancy is your cooking at home, or is it just for show at work, and then you rely on boxes of mac and cheese at home?
Yes. It actually goes both ways. I mean, we do a lot of takeouts. Not gonna lie to you, especially if we work, both of us working really late. However, we do try to cook as much as possible, especially in this pandemic it was happening. We are cooking a lot, and I'm loving it. And I'm cooking a lot of Persian food. I'm cooking other kinds of food, and we take turns, right? Mostly I do lunch, and sometimes I do dinner, but mostly she does the dinner. Last night we had some spatchcock chicken, some beautiful organic chicken that we got. Very simple, easy. 45 minutes. Yeah, some beautiful roasted chicken, rice, some vegetables. It was very simple dinner last night. That's what we had. Today I'm having abgusht.
Oh,
as we're talking, is cooking slowly in my kitchen at the office.
You know what's great about talking to somebody who is this well-known, award-winning chef? Just even at the top of the interview here, it's clear that you love food, don't you? You really love this.
Yeah, I love to eat. What can I tell you? I love to cook. I love to eat. I love to watch people cook. I guess I've been really blessed to find a path in my life that it's a hobby and at the same time it's a source of revenue.
Well, let's get to that. Let's get to both of those things, the hobby and the source of revenue. I mean, you mentioned being in isolation. It's no secret, Hamid, that the global pandemic has been devastating for restaurants and the food industry. You had just opened a cool restaurant on Granville Island in Vancouver with 3 other well-known chefs a couple of years ago. And the companies I know that you own in manufacturing food products are 90% targeted for food services. So I have to assume you've been hit quite hard by this COVID-19 era. Is that correct?
Yes, it hasn't been easy. That's for sure. It's especially going in. You have great sales, and all of a sudden you have nothing. It's like someone, just clicked the switch. The power just went off, right? So that's what it was. We had an idea it's coming, but no one knew that. I shouldn't say we. I guess we were a little bit naive. We didn't know how bad it's going to get, like how it's going to close up. But it closed up pretty fast. I guess you have no choice to act on that and get ready for a little roller coaster.
What's the status of your restaurant now?
Luckily, we opened up last week Thursday. That was our first day back up. We closed second week, I think. Second week of April, and we just opened up. And we opened up just takeout only on Thursday at the Granville Island. To be honest with you, I spoke to a couple of guys who have shops on the island, and they were mentioning the sales are really low because there's not a whole lot of guests are coming down. But we were quite surprised. We had a lot of local guests coming down and supporting us. And last week, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, which was rainy, people were coming down. And this Sunday was unreal. We were extremely happy with support.
Meaning you could make a business out of takeout?
No, but I mean, compared to last year's sales, it's a quarter. But it means that we're going to be able to, have staff on board, pay the bills, and hopefully not to lose money. Does that make sense or not? I mean, right now everyone's just trying to stop the bleeding, right? I think every restaurant is trying to stop as much as possible.
Well, you've suggested that the whole game is being rewritten. That's a quote from you when it comes to restaurants and food services. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a restaurant in Copenhagen named Noma. The chef is René Zeppi. He's one of the best chefs in the world.
Yeah.
I personally look up to him. I look up to what he does and his team do. This is a restaurant that, it's been number one for many, many years. They just opened up last week their garden, and they're turning into a wine bar and a burger joint just to get it up and running. So, yeah, the game is rewriting itself. I mean, no one really knows how long it's going to last, No one really knows the future, if people want to have fine dining, are able to have fine dining or not. How's that going to look like? When is it going to time that restaurants can, fully operate, not at 25 or 50 or 80% capacity? So it will change. It definitely is going to change how people are going to operate and what they need to do to, to float and maybe make some profit.
At the same time, I guess people want their great restaurants as well, to a certain extent. I mean, where that restaurant you're talking about that you own is located at Granville Island. If I remember correctly, not a lot of people live on Granville Island. You have to kind of go out of your way to go there. So it's not like there's people walking by, on a busy residential thoroughfare or something like that. So the fact that a lot of people were coming for takeout is a good sign, I suppose, right?
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming to support us, and we are extremely grateful. And believe it or not, I do the same. Right, my wife and I we do the same. We're trying to do takeout in our favorite restaurants. If everybody does it, it will help to support a little bit these restaurants, and hopefully, with everyone's support, they're able to weather through the storm.
Hamid, I want to get to your story, but let me just stick with this whole game being rewritten for a second, because you're the first chef or restaurant owner or person in the food business that we've had on Roqe so far. And, I have a friend who's a professor teaching about service and the service in the food industry. She's actually one of our Roqe team members as well. And she says they're struggling right now for next year's curriculum because, and I know you teach as well, because they don't know what the industry is going to look like. They don't even know what they're supposed to be teaching about. What would you say to her? What should she be teaching when it comes to the food industry?
I honestly don't know her curriculum, but I can speak about my curriculum. The teaching is changing. When it comes to cooking, yes, you can show someone how to peel an onion, how to dice an onion, how to cook an onion. At the end of the day, that person needs to slice and dice and cook the onions, right? So we can teach the theory, but when it comes down to actually cooking it, we do need that one-on-one time to be able to make sure that person picks up that knowledge.
But also, if somebody was, say, going to college for restaurant management, what kind of restaurant are they going to be managing in say 2021? That's the question, right? I'm really. I mean,
that's
what's
a big question?
Yeah,
that is. That is. I think that's going to change restaurant to restaurant. I mean, what kind of service they were providing before, and how they want to change it to them to do this type of service. I mean, if you had a 500-seat restaurant and you can only have 50 people, well, then I guess you can only open up part of your restaurant that can people sit 2 meters apart, and you can't have the full crew. You got to have minimal crew, but then again, you still have to have the heavy investment in the first part to make sure that you have enough people there to direct traffic for cleaning up, sanitizing, making sure that your customers are safe, your employees are safe.
But
and
if
also
you
the
had
other thing is,
if you had an erstwhile 500 seat restaurant, and now you're letting in 50 people, that's not really a business model, is it? I mean, you're not going to stay
no, it's
alive.
not.
No.
It's honestly, it's not. It is not. I feel for a lot of people, we are going to lose more money by opening up than actually staying closed.
Right. And even as a chef, I mean, when it comes to, say, social distancing, like what does 6 feet apart mean in a kitchen when the chefs and sous chefs and cooks and everyone are constantly moving around and pretty much getting tangled up, right? Have you thought about
one
that?
thing we've done, we got everybody face masks, like a shield, and we're trying to keep our social distance as much as possible. We downsize the menu to a point that it's not heavy prep, so this way we can keep bare minimum people in the kitchen. So those are some of the changes that we've done. And also, before we would, if someone would have to cross through, there is no more cross through. You finish the bag, you put it in this place, next person picks it up, puts it in the next place, and the other person comes and picks it up. So what does that do? That means you have to have, you can't go as fast pace as you did before. Things going to take a little longer. But hey, that's what it is. Like, you have not a choice. You have to protect your crew and you have to protect your customer.
Hamid, when I called you before this interview, and I knew that you're in the food business and you're about your restaurant and you so I assumed this was not the greatest time business wise due to this pandemic. And I asked how you're doing, and I asked if you're scared of what's happening, and you said something interesting. You said, "I'm not scared because I've seen my parents rebuild, and it's in our blood to be able to do this." You suggested that Iranians somehow know how to deal with any adversity at this point and realize that life can continue. It was both a beautiful and inspiring and telling thing to say. Tell me about that.
Yes. When you ask the question, like, do I stay up at night, worry about what's going to happen? To be honest with you, I try not to think of the worst case scenario, right? When we have to rewrite our business plan, 9 weeks ago, of course, I wrote a business plan for the worst case scenario, best case scenario, and medium. Then we can write our business plan. Okay, what do we need to do? How can we be able to pass through this time? So what I was trying to do, I was trying to say, okay, this will pass. You have to stay strong. You have to stay positive. Obviously, you got to know what you need to work on and just push through. I've seen, like, as I mentioned, I've seen my parents, during the revolution, my dad lost quite a bit of his, what he owned. And then again, during the war, coming to Canada and starting again, I've seen him restart it, and life goes on. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I know we will rebuild if anything needs to be rebuilt. At the same time, I know I personally will not let anything go down. I will give my 100% to make sure we survive this, right? And luckily, I have partners that they're on the same page. Yes, this is hard time, but we're going to survive it. We're going to be very, very open about it, knowing that what we need to do, what we need to achieve to make it through. And that's pretty much it. Like, I guess in a way, it's an entrepreneur mentality, right? Sometimes it takes 3-4 businesses for you to have a very successful business.
It's a survivor's mentality. It's a survivor's mentality.
Yeah, you just go back and just do it and do it and do it till you get it right.
You could overcome the revolution and the war and a pandemic as well then, right? Why not?
Yeah, we will. I mean, all of us. I mean, it's a really tough time for everybody. It is a really tough time. Even for people who don't own businesses, right? People, all of a sudden, like, they have to go and get the CBR, like $2,000 a month. They have mortgages, car payments, they have all these expenses. The rent in Vancouver is like so much. Like, a 1-bedroom apartment couldn't go up to $2,000 or more. it's tough for everybody. It is a tough time for sure.
You mentioned your parents. So take me back to how cooking and food became your obsession. You attribute this to your mother, which will come as little surprise to those of us who know how fabulous our Persian mom's dishes are. What are your earliest memories of becoming intoxicated by your mom's cooking in Iran?
My mom loved to cook. Let me tell you, she was like what we call here a true foodie. That was my mom, right? When every summer that we went to Europe, we would stop at when I went out with my mom, our stops would be at pastry shops, restaurants. She really loved cooking. She loved learning different cuisines. She really loved obviously the pastry world in Europe, and at home, she was a fantastic cook. And everyone's mom is a fantastic cook for sure. I'm not going to say that, but in our family, like my mom's known like, okay, Massey Juan's got the best cooking when she was with us. And honestly, I think the seed of cooking and loving food was planted by my mom, right? Her teachings. Say, hey, look at this piece of bread, look at this piece of pastry, talking about what's good, what could be better. And when it comes to cooking in the kitchen, even when she would cook, let's say we were up north in our villa, she would be cooking, and it's just us. Like she would always take it seriously. How would she lay out her prep? How would she would cook the things? How would she would finish it? She would like that part was extreme. It's taken very seriously. That was her teachings to me. And then obviously I love to eat even as a child, so I would get in there and help, if it's clean some fava beans or peel some garlic or clean some beans, whatever it may be. And the other part was that at the point I didn't appreciate it, but now I appreciate it a lot. They wanted to teach, mom and dad want to teach us the value of life, value of money and everything else. So every day for an hour we had to hang out with the gardeners in the garden and help to work on his help to plant seeds.
You actually wouldn't get your allowance unless you spent an hour each day in the garden, right?
It was so mean, I tell you.
So what did that experience teach you?
Well, what they told me, it taught me. Now you know the value of money, and money doesn't fall from the sky or doesn't grow on a tree. But actually, I think what it taught me was how nice it is to have a beautiful cucumber, right on the garden, or just take the beans and have some beautiful herbs. Those flavors are still in my head. Like if I go to a farm and pick up a cucumber, I close my eyes, I feel like I'm in Killers, which is in Mazandaran. I don't know how to explain that. I can feel the wind going through me. Those are the memories that I think I built about food. Spending that time in the garden, right? My mom loved strawberries, and my dad planted a pretty big. Back then I didn't think it was a very big area to grow strawberries. Now that I visit a lot of farms, I'm like, wow, that was a pretty decent size of a field that was dedicated to strawberries, and used to grow in the morning, pick strawberries with her. And every day when I get up and I want to have breakfast, well, you want breakfast? No problem. Go and pick the eggs from the chicken coop and bring it in, and I'll cook it up for you.
خوش بحالت.
And خیلی عالی بود. I mean, at the beginning, like, I gotta go pick the eggs. You go get the eggs, and sometimes you have to fight the rooster to get in, but you have to move quickly before sometimes they like to eat the eggs themselves, right? And then I would bring it in, and it's unreal when you cook an egg that was just picked. The way the whites is, the way the yolk is, it's unreal. Like when I was at the Metropolitan Hotel, I want to share that experience, like how fresh the eggs could be. So we were able to only do it for like Saturdays, maybe Sundays, have like super farm fresh eggs. One of my friends who own an organic farm in Richmond, for the apple orchards, they would have chickens running, so this way they wouldn't have to use any pesticides, anything like that. So he would set aside all his eggs, and once a week I would get the eggs. And you cook 3 eggs, they're all different colors, right? But until you have it, you don't know how great it is.
I have to I just have to correct you on something, just a factual thing. As great as your fabulous mother's cooking was, it's not better than my mother's. Just to be very clear, I just want.
Let's get that out of the way.
I'm just speaking in straight facts now.
That's right.
And
this is what I love about our Persian cuisine. And we all have so much pride in our food.
Yes. Did you have a favorite dish as a kid that your mom would make?
Yeah, it was my all-time favorite was fish in June, and fish in June was like the dish that I would go crazy about. She wouldn't cook it often because obviously she wanted us to eat too much fat. But yeah, fish in June was my all-time favorite.
I'm with you. Sure. I'm with you on the fish in June, man. So you end up moving to Canada with your family, and then you decide to try cooking as a career. Were you concerned that might not be the kind of career like engineer or doctor that a good Iranian boy is supposed to pursue?
Yeah, everyone, definitely. The family, every Persian family wants their kids to be doctors and lawyers and engineers, right? For sure. When I went with the idea to my parents, hey, I want to go to cooking school, it wasn't well received at all. At all. Even though,
even the citrus orchards and all that didn't help. It didn't.
Mom's like, you're gonna have a tough life. I'm gonna support you, whatever you want to do, but you're gonna have a tough life. You have to work. When people are enjoying their Sundays and Saturdays and Friday nights, you're the one who have to be in the kitchen cooking for them, right? Your life will not be like, she was worried it's not going to be super normal, right? It was a bit of pushback, not going to lie to you. However, that changed really fast once they saw how I fell in love with cooking, and they were extremely supportive through the years, and
by the mid 2000s, you become known in Vancouver as one of the top chefs around, and your focus is French food. Why did you gravitate towards French cuisine?
At the time when I wanted to go cooking school and start cooking, that was a while back, and that time, French cuisine was like known to be the best cuisine in the world, right? When it comes to refined cooking, that is. And if you really want to move forward in your cooking career back then, you had to be a great French chef, someone that could cook French food really well. That's how I saw it, talking to people around of me. And everyone said, you start your cooking here, and then you're going to go to France, you're going to spend a few years in France, and you're going to work in the kitchens, and then you're going to come back. That was the deal. Through time, that changed, right? But that's how I saw it. Well, Vancouver Community College, when I went to as a student, they taught basic French cooking. From that on, when I was in a cooking school, I got a job at a hotel in Vancouver, which back then was one of the 3 5-star hotels, the 5 diamond hotels in Canada, which was Sutton Place Hotel.
Yeah, the Sutton Place.
And the chef there just arrived from France. The only places he ever worked in his life was 3 Michelin star restaurants. That was it. That's the only thing he knew. Kyle Lerman, man, he was a really tough guy to work for. But he was tough. He was really tough, but he was fair. He would definitely try to teach you as much as you want to learn. You have to work for it, but he would teach you.
Did you ever think of opening an Iranian restaurant?
Yes, of course. I have thought about it numerous times to open up. I still want to open a Persian restaurant. I really want to finish that journey for sure. I wouldn't do it right now.
Right.
in where we are.
It's on
at
hold
this
for a little bit. Yeah.
But definitely in future, I would love to open a Persian restaurant, an Iranian restaurant, to share our cuisine and heritage with everybody.
I mean, tell me how you fuse Persian accents or culinary treats into French cuisine, or vice versa. Because you mentioned Fessenjun, which was you said was your favorite as a kid, but I've read that you actually have a special way, in fact, that you make Fessenjun, or that you integrate elements of the way you make Persian food into French cuisine. How exactly does that work? What does that look like and taste like?
This goes back to quite a few years ago. We were having a conversation with a few friends. They're all foodies, and they're Iranian foodies, and they were talking about like, oh, we love Fessenjun, but how do you present Fessenjun to be as elegant looking as a,
right.
a French restaurant?
Right. Right. It doesn't look the greatest to non-Fessenjun aware people, right? Sometimes they don't understand. Right.
And how can have it like have this true meaning, depth of flavor? What and as unique as how is it? And I say, you know what, guys, we can do it. Our food is extremely delicious. Yes, we have influenced many different cultures and cuisines around of us, and Iran has been influenced by many cultures and cuisine around of itself as well. However, we can have a Fessenjun that we serve at a 3-star restaurant. Will look as amazing as every other dish in that restaurant, but at the same time, when a person's eating it, it is what truly Fessenjun is, right? Still, nothing has been taken away or added. So one thing I did was I took on this thing and said, okay, you know what, I'm going to try to recreate the dishes, and the thing is, I'm not going to change the dish. If there's an ingredient that is not in a Fessenjun, I'm not going to put it in a Fessenjun. I'm going to make Fessenjun, and that's how it is.
Okay.
So then becomes with knowledge that you have about cooking, how can you make the Fessenjun extremely intense with a little amount that you're putting on a plate that it speaks for Fessenjun? How can you cook the duck legs, go have the Fessenjun flavors, but at the same time have a beautiful presentation? And basically, I use my French cooking techniques and modernist techniques and implemented Persian dishes. And every Persian dish that I've done and I showcased, I kept it extremely traditional flavors. I didn't change it. If it didn't have spinach, I'm not going to put spinach in it, right? So keep it traditional, but yet modern look.
Mm.
I mean, it was a lot of trial and error. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like making korma sabzi, and make it look beautiful. It's not easy. It took me like at least 7-8 times, making sure that, because it's such a mouthfeel. Like it has to have that mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Right. It can't be too rich because we don't reduce stocks. Like we don't make jus. Right. So the stock can't be too reduced. At the same time, it has to have that, flavors of limon yamani without bitterness. It has to have that acid. It has to have the aromas of the herbs, and still needs to have that freshness of a braised piece of meat. How do you achieve all that into a foam? So it does take a little bit.
I make a pretty good korma sabzi,
I love it.
I do. I do it from
Next
scratch.
time we're together,
because I don't cheat by going to Super Khorak and getting the sabzi already done. It's all, I make it from scratch, but I know that it's very controversial. Like I made a korma sabzi that I put some, I spiced it up a little bit. Like I put some hot peppers and my mom was like, ton ki. So I know you got to be careful with with the changes you might make.
Yeah, and my mom was like that too. Like it says, like, yeah. I guess part of it is my mom's like, if you're going to make a dish, and that is the dish. Like, yes, you want to get creative and all that, then it's not the dish. It's a different dish. But if you're gonna call it, or it has to be that dish.
Don't mess with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's gonna be a riot outside.
So, do you do the opposite as well? Like with French cuisine? Have you ever slipped in some saffron or pomegranate or some kind of Persian accent into a French dish?
Yes, I have. I have. Years ago, when I used to do we used to do our duck jus. I would put a little bit of saffron and cardamom in it, and I would steep it with some orange zest, orange peel. It's not a traditional way to finish a sauce like that. The orange is, but not the cardamom and saffron, but just a little bit of pieces. It just give it a different aroma. Nothing that is too forward, but it's really back. I have played a bit, but then again, I've always tried to making sure that dish pairs very well with the wine that the sommelier wants to serve with the dish. Because in French cuisine, it's just not about the food; it's
Right.
about the whole experience, food and wine, and ensuring like we don't put anything in that dish that is going to kill the wine that the sommelier is recommending to be served.
Hamid, in this whole conversation is making me hungry, but I guess that's part of what you do, right? You just you start talking about these savory things, and you get people excited.
My life is a bit boring. It's just eating, eating, and eating.
Doesn't sound like
That's
boring
it.
at all. It sounds fantastic. Listen, in 2013, you were declared Vancouver's best chef, the best chef in the city. What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot because that award was given by my peers. The Georgia Strait, they call numerous restaurants and chefs and restaurateurs, and there's numerous questions they ask for giving awards, and I was nominated by my colleagues, it meant really a lot to me. Not gonna lie to you. I mean, everybody wants to be recognized, obviously, and to have that award, it really meant a lot. It was a very special moment, and also for the crew that I work with, for all of us in the kitchen, it was a very, very memorable moment.
You're such a friendly and seemingly humble guy. How competitive are you as a chef? Do you? I mean, you can be Roqe, do you wake up every day and go, I want to be the best. I want to be better than the guy down the street who has that fancy restaurant or bistro?
No, that's not me. It's weird. Like if I put on my jacket, my chef jacket, right, and I wear my clogs and I step in the kitchen, I just want to serve the best food I can serve that day. It's just the way we were taught, and I've done culinary competition for many, many years. Obviously, if you've done cooking competitions for many, many years, you have that in yourself that you want to be the best.
Yeah.
And you want to win. One thing, at the beginning, it was like, I want to be like the number one, this, that. Then later on, you find out the only person you need to beat is yourself. That's the only one you're competing against. You're competing against yourself. How can you be the best person, right? If I start thinking what someone else is doing, how can I be better than them? Then my focus is not in the right place. And that's what I teach for people who compete. You're competing with yourself. I know there's 12 other people in here, but you're in your own bubble. You are the only competitor here.
But you do compete and you win those gold medals. I'm going to ask you about leading the culinary team Canada to 8 gold medals at the Culinary Olympics over the years. What does that mean to you? And I never want to overemphasize our dual identity, but at the end of the day, you are a guy who grew up in Iran, and here you are leading Team Canada to gold medals. Tell me about that. What that means to you?
The first medal that I won it was 2002 in Luxembourg. I did an individual entry with Team BC, and I was really, really fortunate to have amazing mentors here in Vancouver. There's a chef named Dave Ryan who's been a mentor of mine. Chef Bruno Marti. There's quite a few of them here that I've got really fortunate right at the beginning. I kind of met these beautiful people, and they took me under their arm and they taught me how to be a competitor. Right, competitive cooking is a little bit different from restaurant cooking. It's like every second of your time is looked under a microscope. And it was an avenue to be able to travel to Europe and cook with European chefs, and it was an opportunity to be part of a team, and have built great relationship, friends for future. It was the 2002. I mean, to be able to get a gold medal was unreal. I don't know how to explain it. And then through the years, all I thought was like win, especially like apprentice year competition, every other competition that there was, like winning an apprenticeship competition. That was a highlight for sure. And then after a while, you find out, like honestly, like if you want to succeed and if you really want to win, the only person you're competing is yourself, and focusing on what you want to do and what message you want for your judges to get from what you're serving. And in cooking competitions like that, beside that, there's a whole lot of other rules, regulations you need to follow to be able to collect the points. And at the end, it all comes down to the taste as well. I mean, I hate losing, not gonna lie to you. But I've learned to look at, times that you lose, you look at it as a learning, and then how you can break it down and what you can do different next time. That was an easy lesson, not gonna lie to you.
Despite all your acclaim, you're not pretentious about food. You've been the chief chef at these fancy hotels. You mentioned earlier the Sutton Place, the 5-star hotel, the Met. You've also been the guy promoting a fried chicken dish at a chain restaurant called Earl's that you do consulting for. Tell me about that, this populist approach to food, and whether you think some chefs are too prejudicial or judgmental when it comes to more popular kinds of comfort foods.
I mean, everyone has their own point of view and to look at food. I love a good fried chicken. I love an amazing burger. I really love a beautiful roasted foie and truffles as well too. I can only speak for myself. Years ago, I was watching a documentary with Anthony Bourdain. He was in a restaurant in Spain named Albouli. And the chef there, and was friend Adrian, and they were in their test kitchen, and they were talking about, one of the chefs seared a piece of peach, and seared a piece of foie gras, and they're eating it, and the peach was unreal. Like Anthony Bourdain was like blown away, and they were talking about value, like what's the value of a peach? Why is peach is not valued the same as a foie gras? Why is a little piece of truffle can go for $400, and for $400 you can get a couple of cases of chickens. Why is it one has more value than others? End of the day, I don't really care what I cook. What I do really care is how I choose the ingredients. I don't know if that makes sense or not. As long as I'm using like the best ingredients that is possible, I'm happy to cook anything. It's been source sustainability. A good fried chicken is a great experience. Not gonna lie to you. A beautiful sandwich, it's beautiful as well too, right? Today for breakfast, I had some dates. I had some beautiful pecorino and a lavash. Like that was delicious too, right? So.
Wow, you can take the boy out of Iran, but you can't take the Iranian out of the boy. He's lavash and yeah.
Yeah, I used pecorino today, which is unreal. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: Iranians take a lot of pride in our cuisine and our palates. What is? It's not an easy question, maybe, but what is the key to being a great cook when you're making Persian food?
Oh my God, truly patience. You have to have patience. You can't rush Persian food. You can't rush it. We eat a lot of khoresht, right? And you can't rush it. We eat a lot of plo, and you can't rush it either, right? When you look at like a lot of people that cook at home, they spend hours prepping and then cooking and then serving. Especially like every time when you go to someone's house or your house, like no one does just one dish. They do 3-4 dishes. And one thing I've learned, like cooking traditional Persian food, You have to have patience. You have to block off the time. You have to organize yourself, making sure you have all your ingredients. And Persian cooking is very complex, but yet it is very simple, right? Like it's very simple in processing it, and you have to follow the steps. If you don't follow those basic steps in a way it's meant to be followed, you're not going to end up with the result.
There's no fast track to albalu polo.
No,
Right?
no, it's not. I mean, yes, you can put the abgush in a pressure cooker if you want. It will finish, but it's still nicer to let it go slowly for a longer time. It's just you end up with a much better, deeper, richer
Well, that's
flavor.
perfect. You led me to exactly where I wanted to end off. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. What is the status of the abgusht right now? How is the abgusht doing?
I
Because
can smell it right now.
I'm worried that we took you away from the abgusht and that somehow something's gone wrong.
It's good. It's going slow. I have two smells here. I've made some beautiful rose petal syrups and some dehydrated rose petals and abgusht. So it's a mixed flavor, mixed aromas right now in my kitchen.
By the way, abgusht is a little more liberal in terms of what you can kind of put anything into abgusht, right? Or is there strict rules around what abgusht is?
That's a touchy one for everybody. But for myself, I have some lamb neck that I picked up, and chickpeas and turmeric and tomato paste and tomatoes and onions and garlic and stone dry lime. And then some people like to put potato, some don't. Some people like to put other legumes inside. It just changes to where you at. Main ingredients, you gotta have some lamb fat inside. But we can't really get dombe here, so I try to use some of the lamb fat from the neck, just to make sure it has this beautiful charbi.
Hey man, I wish I could come over for some abgusht right now with the lavash.
You can.
You got it all set. You got it all ready.
Come visit me anytime.
Thank you so much for this today. I'm glad that you're staying okay, and I can't wait for this thing to open up. Hopefully, the world to open up again, so that we can come and enjoy your tasty creations again in Vancouver and anywhere else where you might send them out to us.
Kheli Mamnoon, thank you so much for calling. It was a pleasure, and love to see you in person. And I'm hoping that this thing will end soon and we all can get back to our normal lives.
Thanks, Hamid John. Best to you and your family. Talk to you soon. Khodafis.
Khodafis.
That's Chef Hamid Salimian, gold medalist, restaurant owner, abgusht enthusiast. He joined us from Vancouver, Canada today. Okay. How about that, Hamid Salimian, Shaya? Are you hungry yet?
Yes. I need food.
You can say that again.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, you guys, we put out the call for any musicians or musical artists and performers who've been listening to Roqe to do their version of our theme song, right? So it was, no matter what your genre is, if you play the kazoo or the guitar or the piano, give us your version of the theme song if you want, and then we'll play it. And by all means, keep these submissions coming. info@roqemedia.com is where to send them. So we've received a few submissions now, and we're going to start playing them on our shows. So I want to play you one of our submissions right now. This is one of the first ones we got, and it's pretty special. So Shaya, play a little. So this is from an Iranian Canadian musician, lyricist, and producer named Kambiz Mirzai. I don't know Kambiz, but I'm very grateful for him sending this in. He's a musician, lyricist, and producer, and also full-time clinical informatics pharmacist.
Oh,
That's a very classic Iranian.
Yeah, totally.
It's not enough to be the overachiever as a musician, lyricist, and producer. It's also, he's a pharmacist as well. So let's play a little bit of Kambiz Mirzai's version of the theme song of Roqe. How about that, huh?
Oh, late.
It's very Henry Mancini.
Oh, totally.
You know, the Pink Panther
true,
with the sax. That's really good. Kambiz Mirzai immigrated to Canada in 1997. He's worked with many local and LA-based talents. Finished a couple of his own music projects, one called The Lost Ambient, an album produced and published last year. And his lyrics and music have been featured by vocalists like Shahzad Sepanlu and Farmaz Aslani. Kambiz Mirzai. That's great.
Yeah,
That was
I
awesome.
like it. I
Really enjoyed that. And he's
Yeah.
got the counter melody there with the horns, and I wonder if that's him playing the sax. I guess we have to find out more about this this mystery man. Probably not a mystery man. He's probably well known for, I'm sure, in many circles. Kambiz Mirzai, thank you for your submission for the Roqe theme. Shaya, what'd you think?
I really love the musicality of saxophone. You know, it's very soulful and it's not ba ba ba. It's very
Not a popular instrument in
Yeah.
contemporary music anymore. What happened to the saxophone?
That can be a title for a documentary.
That's right.
What happened to the saxophone?
There's a saxophone and Dang show, however. Have you heard of them, Reza?
Yeah. I've become a huge fan since I met Shaya.
Okay, so thank you again to Kambiz Mirzai, and keep those submissions coming. We'll play them. info@roqemedia.com. We will also, for sure, when we get our website up, we will create a section where we have the theme songs so that people can hear different versions, and maybe they can even remix them on our website.
Oh, that would be cool.
great.
Let's get a website first, but then also have an area where they can remix songs. Okay, let me get to this week's letters. You can post your comments on our YouTube site, or at SoundCloud, or on our Facebook page, Instagram. So episode 9 last week of Roqe featured Shiva Nagar, who has become an actress doing great work in Hollywood, and her journey from Iran through Turkey to Canada and now Los Angeles. This from Sirus Rahimi Aluqare says, Jian, this program is going to have a big impact on Iranians. Great job. And then he says, need any help? Please let me know. I mean,
That's sweet.
we can use all your help. Thank you so much for that, Sirus. That was on YouTube. Also, Mojgan in Toronto says, while I was listening to this episode with Shiva, my daughter told me, Mommy, you know what? Someday I will be interviewed by well-known hosts because of my talent and success in the music field on Broadway. I love it.
That's amazing.
Our love to your daughter, Mojgan. Episode 10, as I mentioned earlier in this program, featured Hamid Nikpay, and we've got so many comments about this one. Hamid, of course, the amazing fusion vocalist, instrumentalist, and composer who really opened up. If you haven't had a chance to listen to this interview, I'd love you to check it out. This from Basil's Angels. Basil's Angels on YouTube says, Hamid Nikpeh is one of the best musicians of the fusion style. Thank you for this interview. Heart, 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 heart. Turaj Yousefi on Facebook says, thank you for this great interview. It was one of the Roqest interviews so far. A few people mentioned that it really defined Roqe in terms of how candid Hamid was. But I want to give the letter of the week to this that came into our mailbox at info@roqemedia.com. This is from Dr. Siavash Atrian, and this is from Kelowna, British Columbia. It's in the BC interior in Canada. This is a long letter, so I want to give you an edited version of it. If you don't mind that, Dr. Siavash. I just really appreciate this. This is, it says, Hi Jian, thank you and your team for this fantastic program. Roqe is not just connecting to me as a first-generation immigrant, but it does also connect to the second generation, like my son, who was born in Vancouver and is currently studying at UBC. Many of us went through lots of hardship and challenges to get settled in our new home, and we've suffered to prove ourselves, regardless of the type of profession we do. I listened to what you said about the rationale you made for this program. This is a difficult time for all Iranians. As soon as there are some good news, some news to boost our image, we lift our head and proudly say, I am Iranian or of Iranian descent. And that was the case in the case of the Ukrainian flight story and many other stories. The other example is COVID-19. As a doctor, I feel extremely proud of being part of the front line people to help, and this also makes many Iranian doctors feel comfortable to proudly talk about their origin these days. This will retrospectively improve our motherland's image. I hope you get my point. I mean, any good news, achievements, and so on does and will improve the image. That's why your program is a window for English-speaking citizens to take a look inside the Iranian diaspora and better understand the image. Thanks for doing this. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Siavash Atrian. He goes on to say one last thing. One of the challenges of all the Iranian diaspora is the question, should I call myself Iranian? Or he says, for example, in my case, Canadian or Canadian Iranian. I strongly believe that there is no right or wrong answer, but we shouldn't be pushed to choose. I love both Iran and Canada. Iran is my past with lots of good memories and things I've learned, and I've learned Canada is my future to be built using my past good experience alongside with the current society's elements, including culture. There's no conflict between these two types of love. If we learn this, we will get along way better, and something called the identity crisis. I hope to meet you in person sometime to talk more, who knows, in BC or in Kelowna. Kind regards, Dr. Siavash Atrian. So, first of all, Kelowna, by the way, is gorgeous. Have you guys ever been to Kelowna?
No.
It's beautiful. I mean, British Columbia in general is beautiful, but Kelowna is one of the outstanding cities or towns of this country. Second, thank you so much for this thoughtful letter. It means so much to our whole team. And Dr. Siavash, I do hope I get to meet you one day in person. Thrilled to make your acquaintance this way. Dr. Siavash Atrian, you have the letter of the week. Let's go out on some folklore music from the Mazandaran region of Iran, where Chef Hamid said his family spent time. This is Aziz June. Thank you so much for listening today. Mizun Bashir.